Welcome back to my series on building a 300B tube amplifier on a budget. I decided to go with a Hammond 2-inch 12 by 17, which is around a $40 chassis, which I think really fits into our idea of doing this on a budget. Since our last video, I've went ahead and mounted the power transformer, the two EdCore 5K ultralinear tap 25 watt output transformers, and the 10 Henry 200 milliamp choke. And I'm waiting for the output tubes, the 300B tubes and their sockets to get here before I start really finalizing where I'm going to put all the components. But this is kind of the tentative layout. One thing I'm excited about with this build is previously I used these transformers with a single-ended KT88 build, and one thing that I never really liked was the transformers seemed really big compared to the tubes, which there wasn't, for lack of a better word, a symmetry that just seemed kind of out of place. That here are these tubes, and as big as a KT88 tube is, it was really dwarfed by these big output transformers. And then I was using 9-pin miniature input tubes, which looked out of place to me to the K88 tubes. And so I think these 300B tubes are really going to not only sound good, they're really going to look great with the scale of this amplifier. One of the things I kind of simulated up the size of a 300B tube, and that's how big these things are going to be. They're 2.5 inches in diameter at their biggest part, and they're almost 6 inches tall. So as you can see, in scale with these transformers, they're going to look great. So these tube rings that I'm going to be using are approximately the diameter of the 300B tubes to kind of give me some idea of the size. So if I have one here and one here, I think that's going to look nice. The other thing in consideration is there's a rule of thumb that the centers of the tubes should be 2 times their diameter. And so if these are 2.5 inch diameter tubes, then the center line between the two tubes should be about 5 inches, and we are exceeding that. We're almost at 6 inches with them spaced like this. And the reason for that is so they have plenty of room to dissipate the heat. The other thing that I plan on doing is externally mounting these cathode bypass, or these cathode resistors that are, these are 800 ohm 25 watt resistors that will bolt down to the plate with some heatsink compound. And the reason I like to keep these external is to keep the heat out of the inside of the amplifier where all the capacitors are. Electrolytic capacitors hate being around heat, and putting these heat producing resistors externally allows the heat to dissipate into the air a lot easier. Like I said, I think the output tubes are going to end up being somewhere in this area, and then these are going to be the 6SN7 driver tubes up in the front, and we're going to reuse this volume control wiring that off my other amp, which will put the RCA jacks on the side that I've already drilled out, and then the volume control, and then it can come right up to the input tubes without having to redo any of this shielded wiring. This is a milliamp meter for measuring the cathode bias on these tubes and how much current is running through them. And it isn't in line or in series. It's in parallel to these cathode resistors. It's using them as a shunt, and it can be switched in and out of the system. I have a DP-DT toggle switch that I'll probably mount somewhere right along in here, that you can switch between the tubes to check the milliamp current that's running through them to make sure that they're running at a safe level. So, and I think putting this in line with these 6S and 7 tubes will look nice. I mean, I may end up spacing these a little further apart to try to get some symmetry with, 1, 2, 3, those things lined up like that. The other thing I haven't decided on exactly either is where to put the 5AR4. I could put it over here next to this edge. It might make more sense to move it out here a little bit to give me some room to put some capacitors over here. I haven't decided that exactly yet either, but I know these are already bolted down, and I know this is where I want the transformers all mounted. And then I'm going to pause here, flip the amp over, and show you what's going on the underneath side. Okay, we've got the amp flipped over now, and here's the wiring for the out of the power transformer. This is the wiring for the choke. This is the wiring for the output transformers, and these holes across the back here will have the speaker jacks come through here like this, and then this is the power switch we decided to use, which is just a simple on-off toggle switch, and it's going to mount over here like this, right next to where this power connector is going to come through the chassis like this, and then this will go to ground, and then the power transformer will hook to here and then through this switch. So all the high voltage AC wiring will be right here in this one little spot in the corner. The other thing that we need to mount is going to be, I'm going with a separate 6.3 volt, 1.2 amp filament transformer for the input tubes. And I'll explain why in a little bit. It's going to sit right here with the 120 wires coming over to the power switch, and then these 6.3 volt heater wires will be able to be run as a twisted pair using this style of solid 18 gauge copper wire that'll go around in this upper corner and come over here and be soldered to these output wires. And one of the reasons we're going with a separate transformer is this transformer has got a center tap where the 6.3 volt wiring that's made into this transformer does not have a center tap, but there are two of them. So I'll be able to wire up two separate floating 5 volt rectified circuits to the output tubes through a rectifier and then a regulator that we're going to put over here next to each power tube. So with this center tapped transformer, we're keeping this is going to be referenced to ground while these are going to be floating. And I didn't think mixing these two together was a smart idea. And being able to center tap this to ground will help keep this from being noisy to the input tubes. And as you can see, it's a pretty small transformer, so I'm not concerned about that. The other things that we have to get inside this amp is, this is a 33 UF 630 volt film capacitor that we're going to be using for the first cap after the 5AR4 rectifier tube. And then it's going to, next in line is the 10 Henry choke. Then we're going to have a 100 UF 500 volt electrolytic cap. And one of the things we're going to be doing different on this amp is I'm going to split the power rail after the first choke. And we're going to be using these two small, these are, I believe these are 1.5 Henry 200 milliamp chokes. The number that's on the top of these aren't the actual chokes we're going to be using. These are for another project, but they're the same exact size. They're just higher Henry, lower Henry at higher milliamps. So we're going to split the power rail through these two chokes, and they're both going to be feeding these two big 200 UF filter capacitors. The reason I'm going with these big 200 UF capacitors is I want to be simulating what a monoblock amp would have, in that the power supplies between the two output tubes aren't going to be affected by each other. Each one of these big caps is going to act as a reservoir to ensure that when hard bass notes are hit or anything that draws a lot of current through the tube, it won't impact the other side, because it will be pulling a lot of the current from this capacitor instead of the upstream capacitor that they both share. So somehow I'm going to have to mount all these filter capacitors underneath this circuit, or this chassis, but I want to make sure of where I'm going to be putting all of the tubes. And because if we end up with, these two tubes are going to be up here, these two are going to be more like this, and so we're going to have to put it all in this area. But we also have to, if we're going to put this little meter here in the front, then we're going to be limited more to this space in here and back here. And we may end up putting some of the circuitry up here underneath the output transformers. I am planning on doing the rectifiers for the filaments for the 300Bs, bolting them to the back of this back panel in this area here. And then I've done some research on how much heat sinking capacity these regulators we're going to be using need. And the consensus online seemed to be that we can probably get away with just bolting them with insulators, electrical insulators, to the chassis itself. But I'm also going to add some thin heat sinks that come up from the chassis itself, which are on order. They should be here first of next week, and I can show you what those are going to look like, to help dissipate some of the heat so it isn't sunk into the chassis any more than necessary. And then drill some ventilation holes around them so that the heat can rise up and through the chassis and doesn't get trapped underneath it, where it's going to heat up the capacitors that are underneath here. The other thing, and let me spin the amplifier around so you can see this. So one of the things I try to do in my builds is drill as few holes as possible through the chassis to mount stuff on. And anywhere we can bolt down a tag strip or anything like that to an existing bolt, it just makes the top side of the amplifier clean. Or like these little mount things for these tubes where you don't see the nut on the top side, you can use these bolts to hold down tag strips, etc. So one of the things I did was, when I was researching these chokes, I found chokes that have the exact bolt spacing as this 10 Henry choke. So I'm going to be able to bolt this pair of chokes right here in the front without having to drill any more holes on the top side of the chassis. And then I left enough room to run this 5-volt wiring up here in this corner where it's not going to be near these chokes, in case there's any inductance coming off of them or off of this heater wiring. Because keeping things apart from each other is a good plan. So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm still waiting on the 300B tubes and their 4-pin sockets to get here. They're coming from China. Hopefully they won't be too much longer getting here. It's been a couple of weeks. And then I have the correct chokes coming from Mauser. They should be here on Monday. Even though these are the exact same size, I can get the actual ones here and bolt them in, and then start doing this power supply filtering wiring, and I believe I can get all of this done. I can then get the floating AC wiring to these rectifiers and ready to wire them up to the regulators once I get the tubes installed and figure that wiring out. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and give you guys an update on where we're at. I know it's been a little over a week, and some of you are probably as anxious as I am to see this amplifier built. I mean, I'm glad I got most of the metal work done. All I've really got left is to punch the tube holes and then the hole for this milliamp meter, and I've got chassis punches for all that, so that should be very simple to do. And we'll be zipping along here pretty soon. Hope you're enjoying this video series, and if you are, please subscribe so you get updates, and thank you for watching my channel. Have a great day.